What's up, DNL family? Today's episode on YouTube, we're going to talk about buying a new or used car. And we're going to do that right now. What's up, DNL family? I wanted to come to you today because I want to tell you a little bit of story about buying a new or used car. So my daughter has been struggling lately about buying a car. She was struggling with buying either a car or a house, and she wanted to buy a house, and we told her if you buy the car, you won't be able to afford the house, and vice versa. So she had her heart set in this one house, and we put a contract in on it, and only to find out that somebody put cash down and bought the house. So she was out of the house, and trying to find one in her price range is a little difficult. I mean, she can't afford a $300,000-$400,000 house, and she's just starting off. So as a parent and as a dad, I really don't want to see her buy something that expensive for her first home. I'd like to see something a little bit less expensive that might need a little bit of work that dad can help her with, or she can do some painting and stuff like that. But she didn't buy the house, so she's been struggling with buying a vehicle. Now she has a vehicle she drives, she's bought and paid for, she doesn't have any payments on it. But it's starting to act up. It's starting to nickel and dime her. Things are starting to break down. And of course, Dad had to put brakes on it and a mass airflow sensor, and we've had to do some repairs to it. But now it's like the idle goes up and down, and it stalls at a red light, and then some days it don't start, and she's really having some problems with it. And it's frustrating her. My daughter has ADHD, high levels of anxiety. So when something like that happens, the first thing she does, she picks up the phone and calls mom or calls dad. And we try to calm her down. Okay, all right. Well, today, Saturday, Dad was out there cutting the grass. She sent a message to her mom and said, Mom, will you go with me to go look at cars? Now, normally it's a dad thing, but I said, you know what? Let them go look at them. So they start going to different dealerships and looking at cars. Well, she finds one that she likes. Test drives it, loves it. Mom sends me a text message and says, this is the one she's looking at, this is the price, how many miles. And I said, well, it kind of seems a little high for the price. But it's other than that, I mean, it's that really nice car, it's still under warranty. I said, see if they'll negotiate on the price a little bit. Well, my wife goes in there with my daughter, and they start talking to the salesman. And the salesman says, I can't give you a price, interest rate until we run your credit. And I was like, I said to my wife, I called her immediately when I saw that text message. I said, do not let them run her credit until you can come up with a deal. So let me explain this in layman's terms. I understand that they want to see who they're dealing with and whether you can qualify or not. Now me, I have a business. I call the dealership up and tell them what vehicle I want, and they have it ready for me, because that's how they know me now. They know I've already dealt with them. I've established credit. I got, really good credit. And I just call them and tell them what I want. If it's a new van for the company or whatever it is, find me this vehicle, they'll do it. I've dealt with them so long that they already know that it's pretty much going to be approved. I know my daughter, I've seen her credit, exceptional credit, pays her bills on time. What's interesting about my daughter, a little bit about that, she's very anal when it comes to her bills. And what I mean by that is, when we first started about the house and how we could afford and how she could afford it and do this, I sat down with her and I made an Excel spreadsheet for her. I said, put this on your computer, put your bills in there. This will all calculate right here. I'm pretty proficient in Excel. And she's like, nope, too complicated for me. She got a piece of paper, took a piece of paper out. She wrote each and every bill that she had to pay. When it was due, how much was due, how much the balance was. She wrote each check. She works 2 jobs. She wrote each check per month, how much she had. She subtracted that from her bills. Now, this is on a piece of paper. She handwrites this every month. She, it's amazing that she keeps up with that, but she does. That's her way of tracking it. God bless her. If that works for her, God bless her. And it's been working for her. So she's very, very conservative when it comes time to spending money. So she puts some money away. So I told my wife, I said, don't let them run her credit. Because what it's going to do is it's going to put a hard inquiry on her credit. It's going to make her score go down. Well, the dealership was already in the process of doing this. The next thing that came out of the salesman's mouth was, we see you have excellent credit, which we already knew she did, but you're a first-time auto buyer. And because you're a first-time auto buyer, your interest rate is going to be higher. So they wanted to sell her this car at a 6.99% financing. Now, don't get me wrong, not hateful, not out of the ordinary, but for somebody that has exceptionally good credit, I mean exceptionally, and I'm not even going to throw the score out there, but I'll tell you it's high, that she would get a 6.99. I don't get a 6.99. I'm in the low 3s and 4s. So, I mean, I already know. I already know what, see, we do our homework when it comes time to buying vehicles or the purchases that we make. We'll do our homework on the financing, and we have a credit union we can go to. We have a regular bank we can go to. We have other outlets that we can go to that we can check what's your rates, how much you, what are you giving. They'll tell you the rates they're giving on used cars. They tell you. If it's 5 years old, we'll give you 4.99% on qualified credit. So they already know that you can get 4.99. That dealership does not have to run your credit to do that. You pretty much already know. Your deal is, what is the best deal you can get on the vehicle? That's what anytime I go, like I said, I call them up. I said, look, I want to buy this vehicle for this for this payment. What is the best you can do for me? I already know what my interest rate is going to be because I can call my credit union and get it at 3.99. I already know that. There's no reason why that dealership would need to pull my credit. Tell me what you're going to come back with on the price. So they came back and they told that. So my wife calls me and she says, you'll never believe what's going on. And I said, what do you mean what's going on? Well, they pulled her credit and they said this, this, and this. And I said, oh, no, 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 no. I said, this is the reason why you shouldn't have let them pull her credit. I said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to tell them, and my wife, she's very slick when it comes to this stuff. She looked right at that salesman. She said, you know something? I find it very ironic that this dealership wants to charge her 6.99% when 8 months ago we were in a dealership, and the only reason why she didn't buy the car is, number one, it was brand new, and number two, it didn't fit in her budget. When we did everything and calculated it, a very good friend of mine, dealership, we couldn't come in with a number that she was comfortable with in paying. And she didn't save up enough monies for a down payment. Well, now she's got a very good down payment and she saved up. But she still couldn't afford the brand new one, the $26,000 one. She looked right at that guy and said that to him, and he went back to his manager after finagling that and came back and said, this is what he said to my wife. We got her 4.99. Within 5 or 10, I mean, I wasn't there, I don't know the time frame, but I'm going to assume we've all, any of us that have dealt with a dealership and dealt with used cars or buying a car, you can spend hours in there, right? In the negotiation of the price and this and that and what you want the feature, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, spend hours in there. I don't like to spend hours in a dealership. Call them, have the car ready, have the documents ready. I want to sign on a dotted line, and I want to be out of your dealership in less than 60 minutes. Can you do it? Yes or no? If they tell me no, I'm going to find another place that will. Now, I have a very comfortable dealership that I can do that with on a whim. If I see something I like, call them up, say, have that vehicle ready. I'm going to pick it up. Have the paperwork ready because I just want to walk in and sign for it. And I want to walk out of your dealership and drive home. I don't want to spend my whole Saturday afternoon in a dealership. I don't want to spend my Sunday in a dealership. I want to get it and get out, right? So I guess it's a man thing. It's fine. I'm okay with that. So the, he comes back with that. So my wife, is telling me this, and I'm like, well, that sounds kind of shady to me. First, they want to offer 6.99 because she's a first-time auto buyer, but now all of a sudden, somebody else is going to give her the loan for 4.99. Well, why didn't you shop that in the first place? Why did you shop the higher interest rate, thinking that these two women were sitting in the dealership, and that was going to read the documents, make sure. If you don't feel comfortable with what they're doing, stop. Stop, get up, and walk out. And I told my wife the same thing. Now, my daughter, she's a little, like, she doesn't want to, but she has to understand it, and I'm trying to teach her that not every deal is going to be for you, and not every person is going to be looking out for the best interest of you. Salesmen, automobile salesmen, and everybody else they work off commission. So if they could have sold her that loan at a higher interest rate, he would have made more commission. The dealership would have made more money. No, no. It doesn't work that way. That's why, and I wanted my wife and my daughter to go do that together. I stayed in the background doing it. And my wife said, well, I knew you should have came with us. I said, this is what I want you to do. I said, I want you to look right at that sales guy. And I said, this is what I want you to say. I've wasted enough time in this dealership. I've already noticed that this is not in my benefit. You're not looking out for the best interest of me. So this is what I'm going to offer you one last time. I want you to go to your manager. This is the price point we need to be at. If you can't be at that price point, then you come back with the best deal that you can offer me. Don't come back and then say, well, let's go relook at it after that. I've wasted enough time in here. You already know I can qualify for the loan. My daughter can qualify for it. We already know that. It's a matter of signing her name to it. But the bottom line is, come back with the best deal you can come back with. Or we're just going to get up and walk away because there's other dealerships we can go visit and buy a car. Because she could probably go buy a brand new one and stretch the payments out past up to 84 months, sometimes 96. And that would have lowered her payment because we're stretching it out longer. So she did it. And the sales guy comes back and says to my wife, honestly, there's no wiggle room. There's about $1,000 left in this. So now the decision is up to whether or not at that point in the 4.99. So what does my wife do? She takes my daughter, gets up, and walks out and goes outside, and she calls me. And she starts telling me this, and I said, well, what are you going to do? In the meantime, I happened to call a very good friend of mine that owns a dealership, and I said, is this car worth this? Is this worth the price? Anything I need to know about these cars? And he comes back and he sends me a link to a car that he has, that he just got it traded in, a little bit more mileage on it. It is a little bit older, but it's $4,000 cheaper, $3,000 cheaper. That would put my daughter, after her down payment, dead smack at the payment that she wanted to be at. So I have him on the phone, and my wife's calling, so I had to hang up with him and talk to my wife, so she has my daughter out in the truck, and they're talking, and my daughter's not, she's very smart. She understands the process and why you do the process. There's a process for everything, and there's sometimes you just got to get up and get out. There's nothing that you can do. So they're faced with a decision of the other car that at my friend's dealership or this car. And as I started to iron it out and thinking about it, the payment would only be $7 difference, I think it was. By the time you added the titles, tags, and fees and all that stuff, the payment would be $7 difference. And I'm like, well, she's faced with a decision of what she wants to do. This is where she has to be an adult and figure out that is it this car that she really truly wants, or is it the other car? You have basically ironed everything out that she needs to do in the process to understand that. Now it's the decision making time. Are you comfortable with the last figure that they gave you? Are you comfortable with this? And is this something that you're going to be able to be, that's doable for you for the next 72 months, 6 years? So they're at the dealership right now, and whether or not my daughter drives home in a new car or not, that's up to both of them. But I just wanted to reach out to you, to everybody, and tell you that, be very careful, be observant of what the documents say and what's on the documents. Always question that, and don't let somebody run your credit before they can tell you what kind of deal you can get. Because the bottom line is, there's places out there that tell you, I mean, if you do your research, like I said, your credit union, you'll know, your bank will know what used cars, what it's going for. You know what your credit score is, or what your, now if you got average credit, there could be some discrepancies there. If you got lower than average credit, there's definitely going to be a higher interest rate or something like that. But when you have excellent credit, and you know you do, and you pay your bills on time, and all that transpires, don't let them push you into running your credit report, because it does have a negative impact on your credit, especially when they shop it around to different places. Because if the first place doesn't work at the 6.99 and they have to shop it to somebody else, they're going to pull your credit. That's going to have a ding on it. That's going to have a ding on it. It may not affect your score as much, but the fact of the matter is they're hard inquiries. And because of hard inquiries, they affect your credit. And then other companies get to see that and think that very possibly you just, took out a loan for something. So I would bet, well, I just got a text message. My daughter's a new car owner. So they bought the car. She bought it. So things have the way of working themselves out. So like I said, it's what I would say to you is just don't let them do that to you. Your credit is important. Everybody's credit is important. When they stop pulling it, you don't understand the negative effects it can have on you. So just make sure that you do your due diligence, do your homework first before you do that, and don't let those salesmen push you around. That's my tip for today. Everybody, have a great weekend. If you need more tips, visit us on YouTube at D&L Mechanical Services. You can send me an email at askthednlguy@gmail.com. You can visit my website at dnlguy.com. I hope this helps somebody out there when it comes to buying a new or used car. If I helped you and this information is helpful to you, hit that like button down at the bottom and leave a comment. Let me know if it helped you out. And don't forget to subscribe, because subscribing, you'll get up to date, and hit that bell. You'll get up to date information when I go live on, post another video on YouTube. So that's my tip for Saturday. Please, a little bit of my story, but always be careful when you're buying a big purchase like that, because we all know that sometimes we base our decisions and purchases on emotion. We'll also base it on um, wants and not needs. Just make sure you're doing the right thing. I know a lot of people out there do, and you do your homework, and that's fantastic. Great. For the people that don't or have an issue, I hope this video finds you well and this information was useful to you that will save you maybe 1% or 2% on your loan. Thanks a lot. AskTheDNLGuy@gmail.com. Hit that like button and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Have a great day. This is the DNL Guy, and we're out.